You can keep scrolling if you want to, but this is an on-time word that I know God allowed you to find for a reason. But I only want those to hear it who God has ordained to hear it. If that's you, stop. If it's not, keep going. You've heard of the slogan, "Make America Great Again," right? Yeah, I know there are those of you that love it. There are those of you that hate it. There are those of you that don't care one way or the other. But I'm here to talk to you, the collective as a whole, as somebody who really cares about you and not just trying to use a slogan in order to manipulate you into my way of thinking, right? You see, I want to talk to you about a truth that many in the collective don't want you to know, especially those in power. And this is for each and every one of you that can hear my voice, that chose to hear me because God chose you to listen. And that is a concept I call G.M.U.G, which means God made you great. You see, what I've learned during my many years of achieving greatness and just about every aspect in my personal and professional life that this earth plane has to offer is you can either be fodder for the greatness of the collective, and they will use you as that, use you up and spit you out, right? And that's just the way the world works. I've learned not to take it personally because it's up to you to, instead of be fodder, you can choose to become great by the indwelling presence of the Father, and then you can eventually add to the greatness of the collective without taking away from yourself. You see, here's what MAGA misses, even when it comes to its own supporters and constituents. You cannot make America great if its people as a collective don't understand their own intrinsic greatness given to them by the Most High God. And what this means is even, opponents of your message, you have to be willing to humble yourself and get them to even understand their intrinsic God-ordained greatness. You can't forget that any nation or collective as a whole is made up of individuals, and they all have the right to feel how they feel, think how they think, and you just speak the truth, which will lead them back to God, right? You can't force it on them. You have to understand that if you're collective, if they are divided, right, if they are broken and bitter and burned out and don't realize why they're taking some of the dark paths that they're taking, because God will allow them to find great light in that great darkness, right? Yeah, if your people are just broken, bitter, there's no way that you can force them to be better. You see, G.M.U.G, God made you great, also is what it appears to be. It is God's mug, right? It is understanding that God must pour into you his greatness before people can then sip from you, before you can then pour into others. You see, there's a reason God says in Article Mark, section 12, clause 31, and Article Matthew, section 22, clause 39, that you must love your neighbor as yourself. Not be a lover of self, which is a lover of the flesh, but you love your neighbor, come on Holy Spirit, with the love that God is pouring into you. This means totally and completely, right? Flaws and all. You see, the reason that G.M.U.G, God made you great, is so important, because if you don't realize this, you will serve from fumes, give from guilt, and speak from slogans instead of scars. You'll become superficially, quote unquote, good or great, right? But when you let God fill you, fill up his mug that he has created you to be, come on, Holy Spirit, others don't drain you. They simply sip from the overflow. See, just like Christmas, when you know it's his birthday, but he let you get the gifts. Yeah, it's his mug, but he let you do the sipping. So yeah, before we talk about the collective, that's why I want to talk to you. Because if you don't know who you are and allow yourself to be used by the Father, I'm telling you, you will only be used by this world as fodder for their own greatness and not the greatness that God has placed within you. You see, you may think that you've been suffering in the wilderness for ministry, mission, or movement, right? But it could be also misalignment. And that's what I want to do for you here today, the Lord willing. You see, let me tell you something about you that God told me about you that you don't even know about yourself. And that is, you don't know enough about yourself to be your own worst critic. Think about that. You see, you don't believe you're great. And even those of you that think you're great, you don't truly believe you're great. Otherwise, you wouldn't be selling for what you're selling for and or who you're selling for. And that's because you don't see greatness as God sees greatness. You don't see strength as God sees strength. You've been lied on, talked about, backbitten, slandered, faced trial and tribulation beyond articulation, opposition beyond comprehension. Who am I speaking to? But you're still here, not perfect, quote unquote, not polished, but present. And in life, I've learned you will always be faced, come on, Holy Spirit, with a series of God-ordained opportunities, blessings, miracles, disguised as challenges and obstacles, trials and problems. Do you have eyes to see and ears to hear? You see, this is not poetic. This is prophetic. In Article James, section 1, clauses 2 through 4, come on, Holy Spirit, the Lord tells us to count it all joy when we face diverse temptations, because in the testing of our faith, perseverance, patience is produced. You see what I mean? The design is in the disguise to get you to your greatness. Still don't believe me? Cool. We can keep going. Article Genesis, section 50, clause 20. Come on, Holy Spirit. You intended it for harm, but God intended it for good. So understand in that context, what was meant for betrayal by man, God had promotion in disguise. You see what I mean? No, you still don't follow me? Okay, cool, we can keep going. Article Psalms, section 118, clause 22. Come on, Holy Spirit. The stone that the builders, that man refused, has become the cornerstone of the whole temple, the greatest stone in the building, right? That's what I want you guys to understand. The whole foundation is what that stone was meant to be, holding everything up. But man couldn't comprehend, the collective couldn't see that God had made you specifically great for his specific reason. So hopefully you're starting to follow G.M.U.G. God made you great. You see, before you can effectively pour into the collective, you must first allow the Most High God, the creator of the collective, come on, Holy Spirit, to effectively pour into you.